Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So I'm happy to see you again for another pre-recorded Srimad Bhagavatam. All right, today we are recording this on the 6th of March on the eve of Gaura Purnima. So on this auspicious day, so I'm recording this, the continuation of Srimad Bhagavatam class. The reason that why we are doing here, because of course tomorrow during Gaura Purnima day, it won't be available, all right? So everyone will be very busy. So for that reason, so I'm recording it today, all right? So I hope that you go through this class thoroughly. And if you have any question, you can call me or you can WhatsApp me, and I will always try my best to answer your suggestion. I mean your question, right? So as usual, so before we start, let's do our pranam mantra. Om Ajnanathmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapara Kamlam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Sri Rupam Sagra Chadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tamsajeevam Satvaitam Savadhuta Parijana Saitam. Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtai Bhutali Srimadi Jayapataka Swami Tinamini Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayini Gaurakada Damadaya Nagaragramatarini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhutali Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauramani Pracharini Nirvasheshi Shunyavadi Pasacharistarini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtai Bhutali Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Tinamini Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaye Kripa Daye Krishna Sambandha Vignani Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namasute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarini Rupanuga Viruda Patidanta Dvanta Harini Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Ramini Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Bhava Bhumestum Nidasa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhauma Sri Jagannatha Te Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Paditanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Garutisya Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantarada Kantanam Sute Jaitam Suratav Pangur Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarosa Padam Puja Radha Madana Mohanao Divyat Vrundaranya Kalpadrumadaha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Pristalivi Seve Manusmarami Sriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatasita Karshin Venur Swanirgo Pir Gopinata Yesri Stuna Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneswari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Shri Guru Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Shri Guru Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Shri Guru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadi Yasya Anya Anvayat Itaras Charte Swabhijna Swarat. Tene Brahma Hirdaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Surayaha. Tejo Vari Mridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrsha. Damna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasvadim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirai. Hare Krishna. So happy to see all of you here today. All right. So today we're going to continue on text 31. All right. So now we know that Bhishmadev is already prepared to leave his body. All right. So now at just to recap, it text 31 we have read. Thereupon that man who spoke on different subject. That man means Bhishma Dev, all right, with thousands of meanings. That means all the words that he spoke got thousands of meanings, and who fought thousands of battlefields. That means he have fought so many battlefields, all right, and protected thousands of men, stopped speaking, and being completely freed from bondage, all right, withdrew his mind. That means what he did, he withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his wide eye opens eyes upon the original personality of God, Sri Krishna, who stood before him, four-handed, dressed in yellow garment that glittered and shined. All right. So today we're going to do text 31. Vishuddhaya dharanaya hata shubhas tadiksha yaivashu gata yuddha shramaha nivirta sarvendriya vritti vibramas Tushtavajanyang visirjang janardanam Vishuddhaya dharanaya ata shubhas tat iksha yaivashu gata yuddha shramaha nivirta sarvendriya vritti vibramas Tushtavajanyang visirjan janardanam Vishuddhaya, by purified. Dharanaya, meditation. Atta asubhaha, one who has minimized the inauspicious qualities of material existence, right? Him, him, ikshaya, by looking on, eva, simply, ashu, immediately, gata, having gone away, yuddha, from the arrows, shrama, fatigue, shrama. In Tamil also we call shramam, right? Shramam, right? Shrama, fatigue. Nivirta, being stopped. Sarva, all. Indriya, senses. Vritti, activities. Vibrama, being widely engaged. Tushtava, he prayed. Janyam, the material tabernacle. Visirjan, while quitting. Janardanam, to the controller of the living being. By pure meditation, the translation is purported by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada teacher. By pure meditation, looking at Lord Sri Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness. That means by pure meditation, how? By looking at Sri Krishna. Okay. What happened to him? He at once, okay, was freed from all material inauspiciousness. All that material inauspiciousness was relieved of all bodily pains caused by the arrow wound. Right. So that means because he was lying on the bed of arrow, so he was relieved by all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. There's all external activities of his senses at once stopped. That means all is external. There's all the external senses, all right, of his at once stopped, and he prayed transcendently to the control of all living beings while quitting his material body. All right, let's look at the purport. The material body is a gift of material energy. All right. So all right. Okay, let me get this thing. All right. So the material body is a gift of material energy. Okay, we see that the material body is a gift of the material energy. Okay, technically called illusion. Okay, so Prabhupada putting it very nicely. So the material body is a gift of material energy. And what is material energy? The external energy of Krishna, Prakriti. And this Prakriti also we understood as a shadow. Remember that we have discussed before. This is a shadow from the real energy of the Lord. So that means when this material body that we have, it's a combination of all this material energy. All right. And this also technically called illusion. All right. So identification. So that means, in other words, identification with the material body. All right. How we can identify? Let me say, I'm a man, I'm this, I am that, you know, I'm an Indian, I'm a Chinese, I'm a Malay, I'm a Malaysian, I'm this, that, or whatever address that you have. All right. I'm educated, I'm not educated, I'm handsome, I'm ugly, whatever identification you have, it's all based on your material body, right? So it says here, I mean, Prabhupada is saying here, identification with the material body, when we will identify that? When it's due to forgetfulness of our eternal relationship. When we forget our eternal relationship with the Lord, all right? Forgetfulness with the relationship with the Lord. So that means we know, example, I am a prince of a kingdom, right? And I have been, after some time, I've been living among the commoners, and I start to believe me as a common person. All right. Okay. I'll give you another example. All right. There's a saying, there's a motivation we used to say. All right. Eagle's egg dropped from the nest, and that egg was looked after by the chicken hen. All right. So when the hen, when the egg cracked, all right, when the eagle born, from the day one, the eagle born, it start to live with the hen among the chickens. So what happened? The even though it's an eagle, it has all the potency, the eagle start to believe itself as a chicken by forgetting that he is natural talent. All right. So similarly here, we see here, so that means the material body we identify, all right, this identification of material body is because of forgetful of eternal relationship. That means who are we? We are not an ordinary people. We are eternal servant of Krishna. And we are the residents of Goloka Vrindavan. That's the place that we live, right? And we have all that opulence, right? We are Sachidananda Vigraha, Sat, eternal, Chit, full of knowledge. Ananda, beautiful Vigraha, body. Krishna is Sachidananda Vigraha, and we also Sachidananda Vigraha. But the difference is, of course, it's ultimate, and we are just minute. All right, we just minute. All right, how minute we are. Just imagine, maybe our body looks big and everything, we look gigantic, all right, against other living entity. But when we really look at ourselves, what is the size of our soul? The real battery is the soul, that we are the battery that makes this body move. So what is the size of the soul? In Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says, you take the tip of your hair, and you divide it into 10,000 pieces. And that is the size of the soul. It is almost impossible, even with material eye, even how big that the technology or how big that this thing, they can never see the size of the soul because it's so tiny. That soul even live among the amoeba. It lives among the viruses. The virus is alive. Bacteria is alive, right? Even the thing that you see under a huge microscope, right? You start to see a small living entity that runs around. There's a soul there, right? There's Krishna. There's a soul. That means we are there. And also along with Paramatma, we are there. All right. So we are that tiny. So Krishna says, I am the biggest, I am the big among the biggest, right? And I'm the smallest among the small, right? He can never be seen. So we are that tiny. So being such tiny person, and we start to claim ourselves, I am this, I am that. Especially when some people start to claim themselves as God. All right. They say, I am God, I'm Bhagavan. What is the size of the Bhagavan and what is the size of us? As a mortal human being, we are so so tiny. We are extremely tiny. So that means we are living in the situation where we forget our eternal relationship with Krishna. So we are the tiny, this thing, which manifests in full potency in Goloka Vrindavan. When we go to Goloka Vrindavan, no, sorry, not when, once, because it's very sure that all of you are going back to Godhead. Once you go back home, to Godhead, your original self manifest. You don't have mind, intelligence, ego. You don't have that 5 senses. All right, you don't have any material senses. Your Swarup, your original Swarupa, your original potency is revealed in that place. So now when we look at this, so that means we have forget our glorious self, but we are simply identifying with this mundane body. All right. For a pure devotee of the Lord, for a pure devotee, all right, for the pure devotee of the Lord, like Bhishma Dev, this illusion This illusion was one removed as soon as Lord arrived. As soon as the Lord arrived there, the illusion has been removed. Now let's discuss what is this pure devotee means. All right, pure devotee means. That means the pure devotee means that means you are purely devoted to Krishna. That is pure devotee. Sometimes we think, oh, pure devotee means I must have a long turf, big matted hair, with a huge tilak on my head, with saffron cloth. Maybe I should come in the form of sannyasi, or I should look like a Babaji. No, no, it's not that. What is pure devotee? That means when you see the pure water, when we call the water is pure. What does that mean? The water is pure. The water is pure means there's water, there's no contamination there. There's no contamination in the water, right? When we look at that, it's a pure gold. What is pure gold means is 99.999% gold, right? And what is tainted like 91.6% gold. Others are copper and other minerals. It's not pure. But when we talk about pure gold, that means the gold is not tainted. It's 99.9. That means it's 100% gold content in that bar. So that means when we want to become a pure devotee of the Lord, that means we are 100% devoted to Krishna. Our mind, our intelligence, our ego, our five senses, our five working senses, and all these things, we are just simply engage ourselves in Krishna. That means we don't know anyone except Krishna. We just depend on Krishna. That is what they call unalloyed, pure devotee. But why do Prabhupada use the word unalloyed? What is alloy metal? It's a combination of two metals, right? But when you say unalloyed means it is one metal is in pure condition, right? So unalloyed pure devotional service means we do not have any other attachment. Our everything except Krishna. All right. So that's it. And who can achieve it? Anybody can do it. And the beautiful part is just by studying the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita daily, you purify your mind, your intelligence, sorry. When you go on chanting Hare Krishna 16, 32, 864 rounds, or maybe more, even 100 rounds, 200 rounds, when you go on chanting, your mind gets purified. When your intelligence and mind get purified, automatically your false ego is purified, all your intelligence is purified, and you can become a pure devotee of the Lord. It doesn't take much effort. All right. Prabhupada used to say it's simple, but not easy. Why it's not easy? Because we have that identification. We have this thing called the identification, the false identification. That okay. Why is this thing? Because of the identification. To remove that identification, it takes so much of effort. All right. It takes so much of effort. So as long as we can stop identifying ourselves with this matter, and we just simply identify ourselves with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can achieve. But of course, everything is possible by long practice. We don't expect the thing to happen overnight. That's why Prabhupada always used to like to use the word gradual. You gradually grow, gradual, until you come to that level. All right. So Lord Krishna is like the sun. All right. So Lord Krishna is like the sun. So Krishna is, oops, sorry, got the wrong thing. Right. So Lord Krishna is the sun. Okay, is the sun, and the illusory external material energy is like darkness. That means illusory external material energy. That means illusory or external material energy. It is a darkness. It is darkness. In the presence of the sun, when the sun is there, there is no possibility of darkness, right? So when the sun rises, of course, you can't find any darkness. Everything is gone. Right? Can stand. Therefore, just on the arrival of Lord Krishna, that means at the time Lord Krishna arrived, all material contamination was completely removed. Right? All material contamination is materially removed. So now Bhishma Dev is very fortunate. All right. He can see Krishna, but how about us? How nice if we can see Krishna, meet Krishna. How nice if at the time that we're going to leave the body, Krishna suddenly appears. Wow, how nice. So we also can pull all our senses and we simply engage our mind in thinking of him, right? But what to do? So we don't have such opportunity. That's why Krishna says, I am the Mahamantra. There's no difference between me and that Mahamantra. So when you chant Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You are simply engaging your mind in Krishna. You are making Krishna to come to your tongue and dance. All right. When you utter the word Krishna, which is Krishna himself, and it goes into your ears, the Krishna is entering your ear, and through the ear it goes into your mind and purify your mind. It's like a vacuum cleaner, right? And you keep saying the thing is going around, round. Krishna is there, right? So that's why we are very fortunate, all right? That's why they say, as long as you are involved in ISKCON, all right, as long as you're under the guidance and under this Prabhupada movement, you are very safe, all right? And you are very fortunate. They say out of millions of birth and death, one who are fortunate get a form of a human being. Out of millions of people who take the form of human, one rarely knows me as God. Out of millions who knows me as God, one rarely surrenders to me. And out of millions who surrenders to me, one rarely achieves me. And out of millions of people who have surrendered to Krishna and all this, all right, they rarely gets a guru. Because to get a guru from a bona fide sampradaya, it's another huge, what they call, huge endeavor. And if you have a guru, imagine how fortunate you can be. And especially if you get a guru or you are linked under the movement of Srila Prabhupada, you are extremely fortunate. Right? So, and Bhishmadev was thus able to be transcendently situated by stopping the activities of the impure senses in collaboration with matter. Right? So that means what he says, the impure senses which collaboration with the matter. So anything that senses that collaborate with matter is a impure senses. The soul is originally pure. Now, Prabhupada is saying here, the soul is originally pure. And also the senses. So the senses is also pure. Okay. It's not only the soul, even the senses are already pure. By material contamination, the senses assume the role of imperfection. Okay. By material contamination, the senses assume the role. Okay. Assume the role of imperfection and impurity. Right. So by revival, our contact. So what does the revival means? Revival means, say like for instance, you are fainted, and when they give you some kind of and the paramedic revive you. All right, they put the water on your head or face, or they give you some kind of thing to sleep. You wake up. So that means formerly you're conscious, then you become unconscious, then we revive you back to consciousness. Right? So suddenly a person got a heart attack and the person is considered like stop breathing, right? Stop breathing. So he goes to the paramedic takes the thing and put on the chest. No, the thing like make the heart beat again. And then boom, we wake up. What happened? Formerly we were alive. In between, we died, and after that we were revived. We brought back to life. So the word revival means something that you had it before, you have lost it in the middle, and you're getting it back at the end. The same thing. So that means the revival here means, that means formerly we are all spiritual and eternal servant of Krishna, but in between we have forgotten. So now we get back our remembrance. It's called revival. You all understand? So by revival of contact with the supreme person, pure person, Sri Krishna, the senses again. Okay, now let's say the senses again. That's why he says, formerly it was pure. In between, it became impure. Then again, it became freed from material contamination. You all understand? All right. So Bhishmadev attained all these transcendental conditions prior to leaving this material body because the Lord's present. The Lord is the controller and benefactor of all living beings. All right. Okay, let's move on. All right. So the Lord is the controller and benefactor of all living beings. And that is the verdict of all Vedas. That is that verdict. Verdict means what? The final sentence. Final proclamation. Proclaim. Right? Say like for instance, when you go to the court, the judge will say, he'll read all the things. Oh, you have done this, you have done that, they give you all the things. At last he gives a verdict. You are sentenced to life, sentenced to death. Verdict. Verdict means ultimate conclusion. So that means, then what is the verdict? The Lord is the controller and benefactor of all living beings, is the verdict of all Vedas. He is the supreme eternity and living entity is among. He is the supreme eternity and living entity amongst all the eternal beings. Right? He's the eternal living beings. And he alone provides the necessity of all kinds of living beings. Thus he provide all facilities to fulfill the transcendental desire of his great devotee Bhishma Dev, who prayed as follows. Now, we are coming to that prayer of Bhishma Dev. It's going to be very auspicious. Shri Bhishma Vacha Iti Matir Upakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukam Upagate Kvachit Vihartum Prakriting Upeyushi Yat Bhava Pravaha. Shri Bhishma Vacha Iti Matir Upakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukam Upagate Kvachit Vihartum Prakritim Upayushi Yat Bhava Pravaha. Iti Matir Upakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukam Upagate Kvachit Vihartum Prakritim Upayushi Yat Bhava Pravaha. Sri Bhishma Vacha. Sri Bhishma said, Iti thus, Matihi thinking, feeling and willing, Upakalpita invested, Vitrishna freed from all sense desire, Bhagavati unto the personality of Godhead, Satvata Pungave unto the leader of the devotees, Vibhumni unto the great, Swasukam self-satisfaction, Upagate unto he who has attained it, Kvachit sometimes, Vihartum out of transcendental pleasure, Prakritim in the material world, Upayushi do accept it, yet Bhava from whom the creation, Pravaha is made and annihilated. Translation. Bhishma Dev said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling and willing, which are so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duty, in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Okay, let's look at the purport. Because Bhishma Dev was a statesman, the head of Kuru dynasty, a great general, a great leader of Kshatriya, his mind was strewn over many subjects. Okay, he's like engaged in many things. And his thinking, feeling, and willing were engaged in different matters. Now, in order to achieve pure devotional service, he wanted to invest all power of thinking, feeling, and willing entirely at the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. All right. So now, Bhishma was a Kshatriya, he was a king, he was a Kshatriya, and he was an important statesman with the Kuru dynasty. Of course, he had so many work to do, right? You have to look after his people, you have to punish, you have to go fight, a lot of things, all right? Politics, his life is full-time politician, right? So now he said he wanted to remove all that and he wanted to invest all powers of thinking. That means all that ability of thinking, all the ability of feeling and willing entirely in the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. So what we can understand from here? So that means even for us to want to think, feel, and will, it is actually by our decision. It is by our decision we can make it happen. You understand? It is not happen by chance. We have to make the decision. So that means he said he wanted to invest. That means what? He had a choice of investing or not investing. So he wanted to invest the power, all power of thinking. So that means he makes that decision to engage all his powers of thinking, feeling, and willing unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So in order for us to do that, even how much we can invest the power to know, learn, and something, it takes so much of effort, all right? So it takes a lifelong learning. So that means if we can just go on practicing this devotional service until our final breath, right? A day comes that easily you can simply make a decision to invest all our thinking, feeling, and willing unto the lotus feet of Krishna. Actually, here Bhishma Dev is giving us a lesson. All right, he's giving a fantastic lesson how to leave the body. So anyway, he is described herein as the leader of the devotee and all powerful. Although Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, He himself descends to earth to bestow upon his pure devotees the boon of devotional service. So that means what? So he himself comes down to his pure devotees to give them a boon. What are the boon that actually we are looking for? When you look at other personalities, they give all kind of boons, right? Eternity, long life, healthy life, beautiful woman, beautiful wife, wonderful children, all these kind of materially affected things. But Krishna comes down and he gives a boon to who? To his pure devotees. And what is that boon? Is devotional service. And try to imagine this, my dear devotees. When you are engaging in devotional service, sometimes you get frustrated. Sometimes we feel we are not happy. Sometimes we feel like something is not right. But do remember this. This is a boon. When you can engage yourself in devotional service, chanting, dancing, eating prasadam, reading Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, and do some kind of service in the temple or whatever, this is a boon. I remember Radhanath Maharaj once said, all right, it was related to me by one of my god brothers, senior god brother, Hari Leela Prabhu from Mayapur. He was telling a story. IIT graduate came, right? He was like walking around. Suddenly, someone called him and asked for help to peel potatoes. He was offended. He said, I am an IIT graduate. I am the cream of the crop. IIT means it is the very high standard university in India. Only the cream of the crop can go in. It's one of the world top university. He said, I am here. I'm a great. They asked me to peel potato. But somehow or other that day, the Radhanath Maharaj gave a class in Chaupati. He gave a class. And coincidentally, he spoke about this. I am a doctor. I am an engineer. I am IIT graduate. And I need to peel potato. He was shocked. He was thinking, how come he knows? Because he's just thinking to himself, right? You want me to peel potato? I am an IIT graduate. I need to peel potato. I am a doctor. I'm a cream of the crop. You want me to peel potato? No, I am this, I am that. You want me to peel potato? Then after that, Maharaj said, but it took you 8.4 million lifetime to peel a simple potato for Lord Krishna. Do you get it? It takes 8.4 million lifetime to peel a potato for Krishna. So to serve Krishna is very, 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 very rare. Extremely rare. All right. Sometimes we get it. We take it lightly. But you must understand, for you to be here, you should have done something great in your previous life. You should have done some great tapasya in your previous life. You should have done something wonderful. You may be born scattered anywhere. You'll be born from a fantastic family or a lousy family, from a high caste or the low caste, or from a being whichever world that you are born from. Right? Maybe born this thing, or maybe born out of wedlock. It doesn't matter. But here, you may think, I am from this kind of background. How am I? No. It doesn't matter from which background he came from. But if today, if you're studying Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you have done something great in your previous birth. All right? Because what Krishna says, he comes down to give boon of devotional service. He descends sometimes as Lord Krishna, as he is, and sometimes Lord Chaitanya. Okay? He also came as Lord Chaitanya. So he came in the form of Lord Chaitanya. All right. So sometimes he came as Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is even more merciful than Krishna. All right? Because Krishna selected his pure devotees. But Lord Chaitanya gave everybody, even a Muslim, even Yavanas, right? Even whoever it is. He said, everybody come and chant the Hare Krishna Maha. He was so merciful to every living entity in this world. So both are leaders of the pure devotees. Pure devotee of the Lord have no desire other than service of the Lord, right? And therefore they are called Sattvata. The Lord is the chief amongst the Sattvatas. Bhishmadev therefore had no other desires unless one is purified from all sorts of material desire. the Lord does not become one's leader. So that means if you want to be the Krishna to be the thing, you have to be purified from all kind of desire. So anyway, desires cannot be wiped out. Now let's look at this. Desires cannot be wiped out. It's practical. Nobody can remove the desire, but they can only be purified. The desire can be purified. Even to do this devotional service, even the idea of going back home, back to Godhead, even to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also takes desire. Right? So that means the desire cannot be wiped out, but it can be purified. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10:10. What he says, by the Lord himself that he gives his instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee. That means by the Lord himself that he gives the instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. So that means we understand what the pure devotee means is the person who constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. Such instruction is given not for any material purpose, not meant for any material purpose, but for going back home to Godhead. I mean, all these things is only for going back home, back to Godhead, not to any kind of material distinction. For the ordinary man who wants to lord it over the material nature, the Lord only sanctions and becomes witness of the activities. Who? For ordinary people. All right, ordinary people who still want to control, who still have desire to become a leader, you know? Like even the grand old man, Mahadev still wants to be a prime minister, a lunatic man, right? So that means whatever for him, for this kind of people, the Lord only sanctions it, approves it, and also becomes witness of activity. What does it mean? What does it mean by witness of activity? That means Paramatma. Paramatma is witnessing all our activity, but he never gives the non-devotee instruction of going back home, back to Godhead. He never gives this kind of instruction, right? So that is the difference of dealing with the Lord with different living beings, both the devotees and the non-devotees. He is the leader of all living beings, as the king of the state rules both prisoners and the free citizen. Okay, this is one example here. So he's the leader of all living beings, as the king is the king of the state rules both prisoners and free citizen, right? So the king rules the prisoners and also the free citizen. Okay, but he is dealing a different term in terms of devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotee never care to take any instruction from the Lord, and therefore the Lord silent in their case. Although he witness all the activities and award them the necessary results, good or bad. Okay, the devotees are above this material goodness and badness. They are progress on the path of transcendence, and therefore they have no desire for anything material. The devotee also knows Sri Krishna as the original Narayana. The devotee also knows that Sri Krishna is the original Narayana, right? Because Sri Krishna, by his plenary portion, appears as Karana Dakshai Vishnu. Okay, we have also discussed this. Okay, so that means what? The devotee also knows, okay, that original Krishna is the original Narayana, because there's so many Narayanas, but among the Narayana, the original Narayana is Sri Krishna. All right, because by Krishna's plenary portion, that means his portion, like Balaram, Mahasankarsan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, like that, it comes Mahavishnu, from there Garbho Dakshay Vishnu, from there Karana Dakshay, Mahavishnu Karana Dakshay. From his body, all the bubbles came out. What bubble? The material universes. All right, so it says here, that means his plenary portion appears as Karana Dakshay Vishnu, the original source of all material creation. The Lord also desires the association of pure devotees. Now let's look at this, right? The Lord also desires the association of his pure devotees, right? He also likes to associate with devotees. And for them, only the Lord descends to the earth and enlivens them. The Lord appears out of his own will. He is not forced by any condition of material nature. He is therefore described here as Vibhu, or the Almighty, and he is never conditioned by any law of material nature. All right. Okay, so we end the session here. So next week we continue with our text 33. So when we talk about that, Lord desires to associate pure devotees, right? And he is therefore described as Vibhu, the Almighty, is never conditioned. Like as you know, that tomorrow is actually, we are celebrating what they call tomorrow we are celebrating this festival called we are celebrating this Gaura Purnima. So the Gaura Purnima is very auspicious. If you are fortunate enough to listen to this recording before that tomorrow's event, it's good. Do not miss the opportunity of doing Abhishek for the Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? And Abhishek him it is very, very, very auspicious. All right. And especially when you're going to do Abhishek, if you don't miss, right, you may have any kind of commitment or what, just put it aside and go to the nearest ISKCON temple, right, and engage in that auspicious offering of milk to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended in this material world around 500 years ago, more than 500 years ago. He came in the form of a devotee. Krishna always puzzled, why Radharani likes me so much? What do I have that Radharani is so attracted to me? Just in order to remove that feeling. I mean, you just want to feel what happened. So Radha, he came in the form, in the body of Radharani. Radharani is a golden complexion, right? That's why we call Mahaprabhu is also Gaura. Gaura means it's a golden complexion, Gauranga, right? He came in that form, a combine of Radha and Krishna, right? And he didn't come alone. He came with all his associates. First, he came with his principal associate, right? Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He came around, I think he appeared around 12 years before Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda. Okay, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he is none other than Balaram. Okay, Balaram. Okay, he's a principal associate. Then appeared Shri Advaita. Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Prabhu, who is none other than the combination of Mahavishnu and Sadasiva. Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu combined. That is Advaita Acharya. Right? Then he came as another associate, Gadadhar. Gadadhar Pandit is actually Radharani herself. Right? And Srivasadi. Sriva. Okay? And Srivasadi is actually the devotee personified. He is a what do you call Narada Muni. So he didn't come alone. He came with all his associates, all his energies, spiritual. So he came and to bestow the blessings, the ultimate blessings of Krishna Prema easily to every living entity, even if they don't qualify, even if they're not qualified, even they are not even Brahmana. We have seen so many things. Like I think once I shared the story about a former cannibal. All right, there's one Mataji was taking initiation. Before that, his spiritual master said, please tell about yourself. And she was telling, my descendant, my forefathers love to eat human meat. And especially my grandmother said, the eyes of the British is juicy and nice. I said, oh, Mataji, don't talk further. Right? Because they live somewhere near the Balkan Sea or something where the ship will capsize. All the bodies will be washed to the shore, and these people will eat the body. Even a cannibal. And we have seen so many things that born out of wedlock. They don't know where they born from. They don't know who's their father. And even the parents are not married. There's no Garbhadan. Just imagine, Kali Yuga, rotten. Even the worst kind of human being. They became the purest of the pure devotee of the Lord. All by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The entire ISKCON movement is under the direction of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Gaura Purnima is considered our new year. It's a new year festival. Right? It's a new year festival. And this is something that's celebrated very grandly in every ISKCON temple. Right? Tomorrow, it's advisable to fast until moonrise. That means from the daybreak, you fast until the moonrise. If you can't fast, again, be a fruitarian. Just be a fruitarian. All right? And possible, this thing. Okay, what happens if you're in a situation you really can't go to temple? Very simple. Try to increase your rounds. Maybe tomorrow is opportunity that you should chant 64 rounds. Try chanting 64 rounds. If you can't, at least 32. All right? If you really can't, do at least 16. And do it very attentively. All right? So with that, I wish you happy Gaura Purnima. I wish you, I pray and beg Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all that Guru Parambara to bless you with abundance of Krishna Prema. All right, with that, see you again on Thursday for Bhagavad Gita class and Srimad Bhagavatam next week, Tuesday. All right, but next week, Tuesday also, of course, I'll do a pre-recording because I'll be in KL. I'll be in a meeting. So anyway, wish you all the best. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha, Paditanam Pavenivyo, Vaishnavevayo Namo Nama. This recording will be uploaded in the YouTube. Please like and please share. So by more liking and more share, I heard that we get a lot of other benefits, right? Like the preaching and the ideas will be spread, okay, by the YouTube itself. Till then, thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.